All right. Hello. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from around the world. Welcome to episode 15 of our Swiveling Beyond stream, which is also going to be dubbed the end for this season. Last week was the
Wow.
penultimate episode. So this is episode 15, the end, keeping that Lemony Snicket theme vibe that we were talking about a little bit last week going here. So in today's episode, we are going to be looking at some end of the year tips for your Swivel robots and your Teams by Swivl platform accounts. But before we begin, as always, I am your host with the most, Kelvin Patrick here, bringing you those good vibes of everything Swivel. Joining me as always is my partners in crime, Vince and Oksana, and a great friend of our stream, who I'm sure you've seen a couple of times joining us, Rachel. So let's go ahead and see how everyone is doing the last few days over the past week or so. So, who'd like to start off? What you guys been up to?
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh man, I put him on the spot. It's just like,
Yes.
whoa, I
Yeah.
was expecting
You,
that.
you got to pick somebody.
All right, fine. Eeny, meeny, miny. Vince, since you said I
All
can
right.
pick somebody, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm just really excited that a lot of people are finishing up the school year and made it through the year. That's just great. So, yeah, that's it. And we've been pretty busy here, and we can't wait for next season of Swivel and Beyond too. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming up. So,
Swivel and
yeah.
Beyond 2.0. The story continues.
Yeah. So, that's all right, Rachel. Anybody?
We're in product over here. We're just getting ready for a new school year with new exciting features to build into Teams. Hint, hint, we're going to really be bringing some introspection, self-reflection into your workflow in entirely new, imagined ways. We're really excited about that.
Nice.
And introducing when and how video is appropriate to help contextualize all the things that you're internalizing on an average school week. So really excited for that. And that's what I've been working on all week.
Nice, excellent. I
You heard it
love
here
that
first.
update. Can't wait to find out more about that. And see, hearing things like this is exciting for me, even though I'm obviously I work at Swivel. I'm not always privy to the things that are going on behind the scenes for that. So these little tidbits are exciting for me as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Rachel. All right, Oksana, what about you?
Thanks for asking. Everything is fine. The last week of spring right now, it seems to me, right? So we are moving towards the summer, and it is as exciting as to be here with you today.
Excellent. Love that. Thank you, Oksana. So, as I had mentioned at the top of this segment, we are going to be talking about those things that I know a lot of teachers kind of look forward to, just depending on your personality, but the vast majority of us is like, oh no, it's the kind of that lovely end of the year things that you have to do for your classroom. So I always know for me, we would get that. It was kind of bittersweet, I guess. We get that little checklist in our mailboxes. It's like, it's here, yes. Oh, but that means it's kind of done too. I'm gonna miss you guys. Fifth graders, they're going on the sixth grade middle school. So it was, like I said, bittersweet. But, just having to make sure you go through, like, okay, I got all the stuff that I have to check off on this list. And some of you may actually have Swivel added to that. And you may be thinking, like, wait, what? That's things I need to do with my Swivel robot? I didn't know that was a thing. It's like it's robots in the case. I'm just done with it, right? But we are going to be talking about some things to consider, which actually takes us into our very first question. So, did you know that you should prep your swivels and teams by Swivl platform accounts for non-use for over the summer? I'm going to go out on the limb here and say vast majority of you is like, no, I had no idea that was a thing. So before we kind of get into that, I just wanted to kind of go around real quick and what type of conversations you all have had as you're meeting with different customers that we work with about this. Like, has it come up, or did they know this was a thing, or whatnot? I mean, no, for at least for me, it's definitely something that's not on their radar until we do bring it up. We've been bringing up a lot as obviously the end of the school year does approach, and it is definitely appreciated information again, as it was not on their radar. So Vince, Oksana, Rachel.
Definitely. I remember, especially when customers have a lot of Swivl robots and other things like that, they kind of worry, how are we going to, what are we going to do with these at the end of the year? Where are we going to put them? Where are we going to store them? So there's a lot of things you can do, but one of the main things that I like to tell people is like, you should at least label. It probably should be done before you actually give them out, but if you forget to, or if you're in a rush, at the end you can always at least label them. That's a really useful way. Some people go a little bit overboard and label everything, but you could just make a kit and label it. But yeah, that's one thing a lot of people worry about is like, where am I going to organize and store these things for the summer? So
yes, very good. Anyone else? No? All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in. We actually have created a very user-friendly, easy to follow document that I'm going to share with you right now.
I'll drop it in the chat right now.
And thank you, Vince. We'll be dropping that into the chat as well. But this is going to be our end of the year tips document. And like we had mentioned, a number of you probably are not aware that this is a thing, but we're going to have this broken up into two parts. First is going to be the robot, and second is going to be the Teams platform itself. Okay. And it's very simple and easy for you to do. So as kind of just to allude to what Vince just mentioned, a lot of these things have already been done for you. So again, IDing of the robots, that should have been done. Whether your robot is going to be with you in your room or it's going to be stored, let's say, in the media center. You check them out from your media center or specialist every time you need the robot. So again, wherever they're going to be stored, a lot of that has already been taken care of for you. Now, as far as things that you would want to do and consider, just three simple, very easy things. First and foremost is just making sure that you have all of the pieces that came with your robot and you put them into the nice case that it came with. So your robot came in the case. It's going to have its markers, all those, the cords, wires, your charging cables. Just make sure everything goes back in here. So when you do get it next school year, everything's going to be in there and you don't have to worry about it. So again, that's kind of the first and foremost. Just make sure you have everything and it goes into the case. As far as for your markers, we just recommend that you take your primary marker, so the marker that you use all the time, okay, and just dock that into the robot. All right. The other markers will go into the case, as I showed you before. And you would want to make sure that before you do store it and put it away for the summer, that you double check to make sure that all of the firmware for your robots and your markers has been taken care of. And again, if you need to know about updating firmware, we have a link to that firmware article, and it will show you exactly how to do that as well. The thing that I love about our firmware updates, it's simple, super easy to do. Yes. And I give credit to Rachel and her team on that. So Rachel,
no credit goes to me at all. Nope. It's just our developers made it a very painless process, like you said. But I wanted to jump in here because people do get unnerved a little bit when they see the firmware update, as if they think it's going to take like an hour. It's going to take max 60 seconds. And they're so crucial. And I always use the comparison. Would you ever not update your iPhone like longer than even a month or two, right? And those take a long time like that. They arguably take overnight, and you let your iPhone sit overnight on its charger. So what could you possibly have against a 60-second firmware update for a device that we ship far fewer updates than iOS over the course of an average year. I can't even remember the last time we had a firmware update, but you just want to make sure everything is in fine working order before everything goes to sleep. Because,
Yes, and thank you for pointing that. I couldn't agree more. I always like to say that when we say simple and it's quick, we really literally do mean that. It's not something that, as Rachel alluded to, you're going to have to do overnight and just like, oh man, hopefully it'll be done tomorrow. No, 60 seconds at most. Simple for the markers. All you have to do, you see what I'm doing right now, have my marker, plug it into the dock of my robot. It's going to start updating. So as long as everything's connected, you have your mobile device connected to your robot and the app is on, you plug in your marker. If it needs to have a firmware update, it will start updating that marker. You'll get a notification within the app. And when I say the app, that's the Teams by Swivl app that I'm referring to. So the Teams app, you'll get that notification. You just hit OK and do the rest of your markers. Same thing for the robot within the Teams by Swivl app. If you need to do an update, you'll see a notification, firmware update for your robot. Hit OK to start the update. No more than about 60 seconds. You're golden. Okay. So again, that's the first thing you want to make sure that you do before you put away your robots. Just make sure everything is updated. So your markers, your robot base, and if you are utilizing a Swivl Link, which is our wireless audio adapter for live streaming. So you just make sure all those things are updated. And again, super easy, just like we talked about. So that's the first thing. All right. And the second thing is, before you box everything up, is just make sure, as you can see here, that everything has been charged. You want to make sure all of your markers and the robot have 100% charge. Okay. You don't want it to die out over the summer, and this will help to avoid that. And it's natural. I'm sure you've all have noticed that before, maybe with your iPhone, right? Your mobile device, you have it fully charged. You haven't touched it in, let's say, an hour, which is unheard of for you, right? And then you pick it up, so it went down like to 99 or 98%, because it's just going to naturally drain. However, obviously your robot and your markers are going to be turned off. So even though it will naturally drain, because again, electronics, that's what they do, it's not going to, it should avoid you going down to 0%, which you definitely want to make sure it doesn't happen for when you use your robot in the upcoming school year. So again, in the fall. All right. So again, just make sure everything is docked properly. You have everything charged up. And if you do need help with knowing how to charging your robot, again, super easy, barely an inconvenience for you. We do have another support article here that will walk you through. But ideally, you charge your robot, you have your charging cable that plugs into your robot. This is the charging cable here. And then you would take the other end and plug it into your charging block. And then you plug this into your outlet. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So no need to worry about that. And then last but certainly not least, I actually already alluded to this as one of the things that you want to keep in mind, but just making sure that you have everything, all your hardware accessories. So all those cables that came with your robot. So your charging cable, your lightning cables, which connect your robot to your iPad or your mobile device, as well as your charging block, your markers, all of that will go into, again, your swivel case. Okay. Then you zip it up and you're good. So anything that I might have forgotten, or any add-ons or some other suggestions
Yeah,
That,
I would like to add something. Speaking about the charging everything in advance, like beforehand, before storing, it also will help to prolong the battery life of the robot and the macros, and then tool will serve you longer. So it's a good idea to do that. And if you have several tool kits and you personally do not use them, you're just responsible for them, you're not sure what kind of cables should be included into the kit, whether the teachers have returned everything. We have a very good video unboxing Swivl kit. Vince, you could share it with us, right? Maybe later or now. And by watching this video, you could make sure that all the cables are at the place. Yeah, so everybody has returned everything. And by watching this video, again, it's a very good idea to make up the checklist. Some of you has mentioned it at the very beginning. So I think the checklist really is a very, very good idea, just to make sure that everything is at one place.
excellent. Thank you for pointing that out, Oksana. So that's a very good point, that you made, because the unboxing video, which again was done by Vince, very good job on that video, Vince, by the way. It's going to take you through everything that came in when you first received it. So this is a great way of knowing that, making sure that, hey, I have everything that needs to be in there. So again, highly recommend that. If you are administrator, someone that does put together these types of checklists, this could be something that you could allude to, as far as, hey, make sure you look at this video to double check that you have everything in for your Swivl kit before you turn it in. Okay, so very good job pointing that out, Oksana. So that's everything with hardware. So that's the robot and all those wonderful things that come with it. Now we're going to shift gears slightly and move to the software. So this is going to be looking at Teams by Swivl. Okay, so for Teams by Swivl, there's a few things that you would want to make sure to consider and keep in mind. Now, this is going to be, again, for team owners or the administrators of what I'm talking about first. So those are going to be the people who are in charge of your team. Okay, so you want to make sure that if there's anyone that needs to, okay. You just want to make sure that if there's any adjustments that need to be made, that you just double check any permissions that may need to be turned on or off have been taken care of as well. And again, that's, like I said, just for the people in charge of the team itself. Now, for everyone else, this is going to relate to your videos. So all of the videos that you've created for the 2021-2022 school year. I had to make sure, I was like, it is 21-22 that I'm thinking of, right? So everything that you had done for all the videos that you did this year. Okay, you would just want to make sure that you have them gathered in their folders, and you can actually archive those videos. So that way you'll still have access to the videos. You'll still have access to the video, but those videos will not necessarily appear in your, in your folders that you have for the upcoming school year. This is going to make everything a little bit easier. Anything to add to that? I see a couple of comments coming in. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something.
Oh, no, we were just commenting on the article. There's just an item that we wanted to clear up. I think that what you've described is perfectly fine for, the use of videos. I would say, more down in the article, we discussed this, what to do with the actual like content and curriculum of videos. So like maybe cleaning up your rubrics, cleaning up your video tags for the year, preparing for what you might want to use as categories for your videos in the next school year. It could be a good time to think about that, or remove a lot of erroneous ones. So something we introduced earlier this year, and I'm not sure if you realized it out there in the world, that your team members, if you enabled it, they could create their own video tags, which means there could be a lot of video tags sitting in your account that are duplicates or misspelled or maybe not super relevant. So this would be a great time to go in there and clean all those up and gently remind everyone that, a video tag is only as useful as a filtering option is. If it's incoherent or if it's a duplicate, you're kind of destroying the purpose of a video tag. And so you want to be able to find your videos more expediently in the future. And video tags is a great way to do that. So it's just time to give that a check. And then on rubrics, just thinking about what is it you want to focus on next year through your coaching or through your mentoring. What are some rubrics that you might want to build in? And this is also a great time to talk to your customer success manager about building in a rubric so it's ready to go, and they can work with you to do that. And that's, those are kind of the two core areas. Maybe also user labels is probably the other one that could use a little bit of cleanup. If you have a lot of administrators on your team and they've all created labels around individuals, again, duplication or potentially irrelevant labels, this would be a great time to clean them up. So that way in the beginning of the school year, you know exactly who is part of which, level in your organization. You can use user labels by your school, by their grade level, by their subject area. And it's a really great way to be able to filter people and see how they're doing in your team. So.
Excellent. Well said, Rachel. Thank you for that. And just to add on a little bit, if you are thinking like, wait, I can create labels? What are you talking about? Or rubrics? I didn't even know I could add rubrics, let alone create my own. Again, we have articles that are linked within this one that will show you exactly how to create or remove user labels. Same thing for rubrics, how to create or remove rubrics as well. And it is super easy to do, simple step-by-step instructions. And as Rachel alluded to, if this is something that your district really would like to start using or your school wants to start using, you can have those conversations with your customer success manager, and we will be more than happy to take care of that for you, just to make sure that it is implemented within your team. So it's something that everyone would have access to. Okay, excellent. Anything else that you'd like to add, maybe Vince or Oksana? Something that you've seen come up on this?
I would like to add, if you are a team owner and you know that next academic year you're not going to be in charge of the Teams by Swivl project, or you're not going to be involved, so maybe it's a very good time right now to change a team owner. You could do it by yourself, and it is much easier to do it right now when you're a current team owner than when you have left the organization, the position, the project, and then you need to reach out to us to make all those things sort out. So maybe think about it in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you for that. As soon as you said, I was like, yes, that has come up.
And it's also super easy to do. And we also have the article about team admin, the team admin's guide. So you could find the information there, but it's really very, very simple to do.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And that's another nice thing about the end of the year, because typically there's usually a lot of change or movement within your school or your district. So some of you might be moving on to new opportunities and are truly excited about that. So this is just going to make sure that what you built while you were a part of this team can still stay intact.
And everybody has the access to the videos, to the team, and could continue working there.
Excellent. Yes. And one other thing that I want to make sure that I mention, just going back to the videos. So your library is probably going to be full of videos if you've been recording and doing those throughout. But you want to make sure that, again, that you have labeled all of your videos properly. So this is a good time to go ahead and clean those up. Just make sure that any of the names that you actually get a chance to do that now, and then sorting those into the proper folder. So that way, you know that it's just an easier way of locating those videos for you if you do need to have access to them. Because one thing I do know about teachers, we very, very rarely throw away anything. So we, I teach. I think, in order to be a teacher, you secretly have the hoarder gene in you already, because again, like I said, you don't want to throw away anything. So videos are no exception to that. So just making sure again that you are able to find those videos. If you're like, I did a lesson like this, and there was something I wanted to make sure I remembered the next time I did it, you will be able to go ahead and have access to that. So things like the labels, just making sure that they're sorted in the proper folders, are going to make filtering and finding those videos a lot easier for you. Because if you're like me and have, over 300 something videos, you're not going to have the time just to individually look one at a time for each one. So just something to keep in mind. All right.
Hey, Calvin, also, if you like, if you're saying, a lot of teachers move and go to new positions or whatever, like if you want to keep some of your videos too, like those really great videos you've done, you want to download those, maybe might be useful to keep them for yourself as well. And maybe if you need to move to a different school or something and they are not using Teams or something like that, you might want to keep those videos for your own records, so you can download them as well. So that's probably a good idea as well if you're leaving. So
excellent. Love that. So we've come to that time, ladies and gentlemen, as we do every week, where we want to get into our final thoughts. And so I actually have this question. Away.
I put the wrong question up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's a weird one for the end of the school year.
Yeah, sorry. That was last week's question. So.
No, it's fine. I was like, wait, no, okay. No, and it's just kind of our final thoughts. This has been a very fun and enjoyable change, I would say, for us doing this in this format. And I just want to, just ask everyone here kind of what was their biggest takeaway from this season, or I guess
is it
version? I don't know, however you want to name it. I'm still working, playing on ideas, but season is what came to mind. Not to be confused with like football or sports or anything. And I guess for me, I'm going to start it off. It's just the conversations that we've been able to have. I've really enjoyed it. It's very free flowing, and which is nice. And again, just hearing the different perspectives from everyone has just been kind of the thing that I've enjoyed the most during our time so far this season with Swivl and beyond. So that's what I have. Oksana, what about you?
And I would add hearing everybody's experience, personal experience, and use cases, and learn a lot from each of you.
Excellent. Thank you. Vince?
Yeah, it was fun when we had some customers even giving us tips and asking questions about what they were doing or how we could help them. It was really nice to see that. So hopefully next time when we come back, we can get a little bit more customers jumping in, or even new users to ask us some questions about Swivl and our products. And we'll have a bunch of new updates and stuff probably by the time we come here. So we'll have a lot to talk about. So.
Oh, yes, definitely. And last but certainly not least, Rachel, what about you?
I've really appreciated being a guest occasionally on this event. to bring the product perspective to the conversation and to hear about what's your perspectives are, working a lot more closely with our users, which I don't always have a chance to do anymore. So it's really great. I hope I can continue to contribute to these conversations in the future because, as Vince suggested, changes are coming, and we spent a lot of our time over the past season discussing how sessions can make impacts in your organization. So just sit tight because we're going to be continuing to revive and restore sessions in the platform in a new way for the fall. We're really excited about it. I cannot share much more about it at this stage. However, just expect new and great things and even more to talk about as it relates to sessions. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for taking the time to join us, Rachel. We greatly appreciate it and can't wait to find out more about those updates that you were talking about.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time as always. So, if you just because we're not going to be doing these sessions for over the summer, doesn't mean that we're not going to be here still working hard and wanting to help you. So, with that said, if you would like more support, we will be you'll be able to join us and do that with our Swivl product experts at swivl.com/setup. You can also join us for our final Q&A session of the season tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please bring your Swivl questions. We love those because, that's why we're there. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to follow us on Instagram at GoSwivl. You can also follow us on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Swivl and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when we do have videos of things of that nature coming out.
Yeah.
And for right now, the tentative plan is for us to be back on September 7th, 2022. So that's going to be our right now tentative date for our next Swivl and Beyond. And we will be looking at those beginning of the year tips and tricks for your Swivl robot and your team's platform. So thank you all.
One more thing, Kelvin,
go ahead.
before you go. So we
go ahead.
We won't be around for the summer, but we do have one more special webinar coming up in June, on June 9th. It's going to be focused on SEL. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be sharing a bunch of information. It's going to be hosted by two of our wonderful Swivl employees here, our customer success managers. So I just posted in the chat a save the date marker. So if you would like to, we haven't updated everything and put the registration up, but we will pretty soon. So if you have a chance, check out that website. I just posted in the chat and you can save the date. It's coming up on June 9th. So we'd love to see you there. And
Excellent.
It'll be on replay as well too. So if you just register, and then we'll send you the copy if you can't make it. So yeah.
And then one final update as well. Next month, June 27th through the 29th, if you are in the, it's not, I keep wanting to say Las Vegas,
Orleans.
not like New Orleans. God bless it. If you're in New Orleans, we will be at ISTE. Please feel free to come by, say hi, and say, hey, aren't you the people from YouTube? And like, yes, we are. So we'll love to do that and just talk education stuff with you as well. So if you are in the New Orleans area, the 27th through the 29th at the New Orleans Convention Center where ISTE is going to be held this year, stop by, say hi. All right. So with that being said, it has been a pleasure. We enjoyed this. I hope you all enjoyed the ride, and we look forward to taking another round, go around this bend with you in the fall. All right. Take care, everyone.
Later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.